Hey gals, it is education time. So, every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. James Clear. Now, I thought that was quite a good quote because my coaching is all about change. But at the end of that, right, he also speaks about working on the limiting factor, which pretty much means tell me what you want to change. Tell me what's the hardest bit about implementing that change, and that's the bit that we'll work on. All right, the limiting factor. Most of the time, the fear, it's not a tangible thing, it's the thoughts that are inside our heads. So when I asked you across all my groups, right, what's holding you back? There was a list of things that came to light, right? So I can't handle uncertainty. Change makes me spiral. My confidence is rock bottom. I'm waiting for something or someone to fix it, and I'm holding myself back. So I think I'm not, yeah, there's no criticism, by the way, on any of these answers and any of these feelings, all right? They are all relevant. I thought I had a dirty mark on the, oh no, anyway. They are all relevant. Of course they're relevant. And the hardest part about change is actually starting right now. We can plan change to the nth degree. We can absolutely think about it. We can write lists. We can do plans. We can set a date. But until you take that first action, right, it's not actually progress. Planning is not progress. You could plan something forever and never actually start it. Whereas I'm looking for progress. All right. Now, a lot of the answers that you gave me were nothing to do with my coaching. They were nothing to do directly with my coaching, nothing to do with fat loss, nothing to do with fitness, right? And that's cool, because the fact that you've even signed up with me in the first place means that you can make change. Absolutely, right? And the fact that we are scared to make change or slightly apprehensive about change, right? It doesn't mean that you're lacking motivation. It's not a motivation problem, right? It's a trust problem, a self-trust problem. Because if you told me what your fear was, what was holding you back, and I absolutely put my life on the line and promised you that you wouldn't fail, you would do it in a heartbeat. You would, all right? So this is one of my favourite sayings ever, and I do repeat it to myself quite often, right? And to do nothing, still a choice. A lot of people think when they're somewhere or they've got a situation that there's like choice A and choice B, and they just don't do any of those because they're not ready to deal with it or whatever, right? But then if you don't choose A or B, you're choosing to do nothing, pretty much. And that's, I realise that might sound quite harsh, but like I said, I'm not judging you. You all know that I challenge you from a place of love, and I hope you do all know that the changes that I've went through in the last 2.5 to 3 years are epic, and everything that you're feeling, I guarantee you I'll have felt absolutely 100%. All right, so that choice that James Clear said, right? Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. So if you're not doing anything about what you want to change, then that's still a vote. You're still catching a vote. It's just a vote to continue staying stuck where you are, or a vote to keep proving to yourself that nothing changes, right? And that's not what we're all about. But the good news, right? You don't need a massive life overhaul. You just need to work on that one thing, that limiting factor, whatever that thing is, right? So we just need to break it down slightly. which is what change is all about. It's about think about where you want to be and then break it down so that you can actually get there. Because if you think about where you want to be, you're probably completely overwhelmed and that's never going to happen. So think about where you want to be. What is your ultimate goal with this task that you want to change or this task that you want to do? And then break it down into little manageable steps. Excuse me. So we're going to break it down. All right. So first of all, I want you to name it properly, right? Not dramatically. I know us midlife women can be drama queens, right? But what's not helpful is, oh my God, my life is a mess, right? That's pretty much, there's nothing you can do if we're going to be dramatic about it and stuff like that, right? So my life is a mess, for example, isn't helpful. If your limiting factor was a fear of uncertainty, that's something that we can work on. Yeah. Then we need to think about shortening that jump or that leap. So to get from where you are now to where you ultimately want to be, right, is probably massive. You just need that first little step. First little step. For example, you want a new job. You actually hate the job that you're in. Your confidence is shot to shit, all right? You really don't like the job, right? So the next step isn't necessarily to go out and get a new job tomorrow, because that would be like really scary, and I get that. But your next step could be to update your CV. It could be to share your thoughts out loud with somebody that you would like a new job. It could be, if you've done those two things, just to apply for one role. Right, so that's 3 little baby steps that would get you on the path to getting your ultimate goal. Because if you think about the ultimate goal, I want a new job, right? That can appear quite massive, so it stops us from doing anything. But confidence, and I have spoke about this before with my lovely clients and on all my socials, right? It doesn't come before action. So confidence comes because of it. So it's not about, I'm not doing that just now, I don't feel confident enough, I'll just wait till I feel more confident, right? You're never going to feel more confident if you don't do it. So you need to do that first little step, then you'll get a wee bit more confidence. Then you'll feel like you can maybe manage the second step, then you'll feel a wee bit more confident. And then you can maybe go for the third step, and then you'll be like, oh my God, this is happening. Right? So it's little steps. Doesn't matter how long it takes you. Doesn't matter how long it takes you. It's just about taking that first step. All right. What we want to do is we want to get you some wins. We want to give you evidence, and I want to give you proof that if you take that first step, you will smash that first step. Your confidence will increase, and then you'll go for the second step. Yeah. So we need to break it down into little manageable chunks and just tick them off, or just chip away at them, whatever you want to call it. One step at a time. So pick a task, do that task, win. Pick a task, do that task, win. Yeah, it's about breaking it down. Spiraling, just because somebody mentioned spiraling, right? That spiraling, that's about changing your mindset. So if you think that you're going to spiral, right, that's not necessarily danger. That's actually your body getting excited, your brain, your hormones, your adrenaline, your cortisol, getting excited about change and growth. But the way your brain thinks at the moment, possibly because of past experiences, is you will automatically assume that that's a fear feeling, whereas you just haven't learned to channel it. I'll give you an example, right? I used to compete in kettlebells years ago, 15 years ago, right? And I done, I don't know, 3 or 4 competitions, right? And I stopped because I couldn't channel the adrenaline into a positive feeling. It was awful. I couldn't do it. I literally spent the whole competition either crying, which is ridiculous now with hindsight, or feeling sick, because a lot of people, like, you get adrenaline junkies, so they can channel that adrenaline, right? They understand that adrenaline is a good feeling. That hormone is the thing that's going to get you through that situation, and that you're going to feel amazing at the end of that situation, right? I couldn't ever do that. All I did was associate that adrenaline feeling with feeling really uncomfortable, really sick, and not even winning the competition at the end. So there was a lot of brain stuff, and a lot of changing in my mindset, changing my opinion, doing a lot of research. So it's about changing your mindset, basically. Of course it is. And it's about getting used to getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. Because, like, what's the worst that could happen? For the people that want a new job, or they hate the job that they're in, right? We will probably have built it up into, well, I'm going to fail at that, right? But failing at something else, so trying something new, or applying for a job and not getting it, right? Would it literally make you feel any worse than the situation that you're in at the moment? Because I guarantee it wouldn't. Definitely not. Definitely not. Everything that we do is just a chance to learn. That's it. It's just a chance to learn. And again, I've done a whole podcast on this, right? If somebody says to me, should I do it? I will say to them, will you die? No. Then the answer is yes. You should absolutely do it. The worst case scenario of any situation is that you're going to die. If you're not going to die, what's the problem? Like, seriously, what's the problem? Anyway, right, I'm laughing at another one. Stop outsourcing your life. This actually really does sound harsh. I was sitting writing the notes for this earlier, and I was like, oh, that's totally harsh. Stop outsourcing your life, right? So this is about letting somebody else, or waiting on somebody else, take control of your life. So you're giving the responsibility for change to somebody else. Right? I have had this conversation many a time with many clients over the years. I'll give you a couple of examples in relation to fat loss. Have you accurately tracked your calories? Well, I couldn't track my dinner because my husband cooked it. That's you outsourcing the responsibility to somebody else. Absolutely. Did you go and get your gym workout done this morning? No, there was no petrol in the car, and it was my husband's turn to put petrol in. Come on, ladies, right? It's your responsibility. Regardless of how hard your life is, it is your responsibility. Waiting for a proper grown-up to fix it. No one's coming, ladies. At no point ever, right, will anybody in your life, no matter how much they love you, whether it's your bairn, your mum, your dad, your husband, your partner, your wife, whatever, nobody is going to come and say to you, right, see all that shit that you've got going on, give it to me. Give it to me, I'll take it off you, and then you can have some time to yourself. No one's coming, ladies. Nobody. It's not a bad thing. It's absolutely not a bad thing. But you are way more capable than you've been acting. So also connected to that is learned self-helplessness. So when we are born, all right, we are not born to be helpless, even though we're a baby, right? We learn how to look after ourselves. Of course we do, right? But we can also learn how not to look after ourselves, learned self-helplessness. And that is a good way to put responsibility onto everybody else for the issues, situations, problems, changes in your life. So you don't have to do it, all right? Well, I can't count my calories. My husband does the shopping. Fuck off. Then you do the shopping, right? You plan the food. This is for you. I'm speaking about fat loss here, all right? But it's relevant to anything, all right? Somebody said to me the other day, I wasn't doing the workout because I couldn't see the board. Well, fucking walk up to the board and read the board. Do you know what I mean? The board's too far away. That's not the board's fault. It's not my fault for where the board was situated in the room, but it's about doing everything that you can to make the changes in your life and to 100% accept responsibility. So, what is your limiting factor, my lovelies? What is it that you would like to change in your life? Write it down. Could be on your laptop, could be on your phone, could be in your journal. Just write it down. Write down that one thing. Then break it into steps. Little baby steps. Like, you need a new job. You don't need to go and get a new job tomorrow. You just need to update your CV. Yeah? Little steps. One small action today that gives you a vote for the person you actually want to become. Because doing nothing is still a choice. See you all soon, lovelies. Bye bye.